AEW All In took place last night, and the question everybody's asking is, did the Crossman watch AEW All In? And I'm going to tell you, no. Honestly, I told you yesterday, the day before, I ain't watching it. I've got better things to be doing. I stuck to that. I wasn't watching it. Do you know what I did? I was playing as Arthur Morgan, running around in Red Dead Redemption 2 while AEW was on. That's what I was doing, but I was keeping up to date with what was going on. I was keeping up to date on little clips and results and things like that. So we're going to talk about some of the things that happened on the show. This is not a review. I can't review a show if I haven't watched it, but I can talk about what happened and give some analysis. So the first thing we're going to talk about, Ricochet. Ricochet debuted for AEW and lost. Yeah, so Ricochet left WWE mid-card for AEW's mid-card. Now, obviously, he's not had enough time for us to really sink our teeth into anything. However, I have seen that he's having a match at Dynamite this week. His first appearance, not a promo, a match. And guess who he's against? Who's the one person Tony Khan puts everybody against for that quick and easy win? Kyle Fletcher. Who? Kyle Fletcher. For God's sake. I learned he's 25 years old from Don Callis in that backstage promo they did. He's 25 years old. He should go to NXT. He's in the wrong place. Anyway, Ricochet's debuted. He did all of his cool moves. We also had a Nigel McGuinness appearance in that same match, I believe. And yeah, it was done and dusted. Ricochet went on his way, and he's going to be facing Kyle Fletcher on his Dynamite debut. And I predicted that it was going to start off shit. But I didn't predict that it was going to be this bad when they're going to put him against the company jobber Kyle Fletcher. Yeah, Ricochet. Give us some promo. Let's see what you've got. Let's see what you've got to say. Let's see what you have to say in AEW. But all that aside, I'm happy for Ricochet. I hope he does well. But I see him being on Rampage and Collision within 2 months and not appearing on Dynamite whatsoever, just like Saraya. Next. AEW is going international again. They're returning to London next year and Australia. They're going to Australia. Forbidden Door in London. Now, I don't think this is going to be a stadium show. They're going to do this at the O2 probably. I hope they do it at the O2. They will not fill a stadium for this. No, nobody gives a shit about Forbidden Door. Okay. Why they're still doing it, I don't fucking know. Because it harms everything. It harms everything. But Forbidden Door in London, and then they're doing Grand Slam in Australia. Which is an odd one, because the Americans certainly complained about the last wrestling show in Australia, because at the time it was for them. I think it started at 6 a.m. For you Americans, that Elimination Chamber show, I'm sure it was 6 a.m. for you. It was 11 a.m. for me, I believe, from what I remember. But I'm glad that they're moving away from their regulars, because clearly it doesn't work. I know Tony Khan tried to make it a tradition to have certain events in certain places every year. Clearly that doesn't work, and he's realised that. He's finally realised something. And he's also realised that he's not filling up in the US markets. He needs to go abroad to fill up the shows, and that's going to cost him more money. But it depends how much he's charging people, how many sick. What the fuck's wrong with me today? Sickets, tickets, how many tickets he's going to sell, and so on. But for you Americans, man, I feel sorry for you if you're going to watch this Australian Grand Slam show, because it's going to be an early morning for you on that Sunday early morning. Oh, I feel sorry for you. Finally, we're going to talk about some bits that happened on the show. Obviously, I can't review because I didn't watch, but from the clips I saw from the results. So, Christian Cage won the Money in the Bank ladder match. Sorry, excuse me. What ladder match was it? What was it called? Casino something? I don't fucking care. But basically, Christian is now guaranteed a World Championship match anytime, any place. Sounds familiar. So he's probably going to be beating Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson's going to be a transitional champion. Now, I like transitional champions over there at AEW. Swerve. I won't say if Swerve was a transitional champion because they didn't really have a plan for who was going to beat Swerve. So I wouldn't say he was a transitional champion. But Danielson certainly is going to be a transitional champion. Now, when people are talking about that moment with Danielson and his family and the Combat Club coming out to celebrate with him, they tried to do that Cody Rhodes-esque feel-good moment, right? Now, that could have been a perfect feel-good moment. However, there was one issue with that feel-good moment, and that's that Bryan Danielson was covered in blood while celebrating with his children. Now, to be honest, I don't think that's something children should really be around. Seeing their dad's face covered in blood. Now, obviously, I think they're a bit too young to be smartened up to how wrestling works. So they see their dad's face covered in blood. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly a fun sight to see. So I think they could have done it perfectly without the blood on his face. Why was blood needed in that match? Why? Because there hasn't really been any build to that match. I know it was title versus career, but there wasn't much build. Why was there blood? Why was the blood needed? Really? Why was it needed? Because the way I see it, you could have had that match perfectly fine without the blood. And then that feel-good moment would have felt more good without the blood. Because there's children in the fucking ring, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why people think a feel-good moment requires blood on someone's face while celebrating with his children. It's not like he's just won a war or anything. It was a wrestling match. I mean, you didn't need the blood. You didn't need the blood. It's not like he saved humanity from some evil threat and he's celebrating with his children while he's got the battle scars. He won a wrestling match. You don't need the blood there. But there was that. MJF and Ospreay. Will Ospreay has regained his International American, whatever it's called, championship. MJF is great. I'm sorry, MJF's great. I love MJF. And I know I said that MJF's gimmick is not the same as it used to be, and it still isn't. However, MJF's fucking fantastic. I'm sorry, but he is. He needs to leave AEW, leave them, go to WWE, and do some better stuff, please. But that's probably not going to happen for a while. Will Ospreay, the golden boy of AEW, as he should be. Will Ospreay is great. I love Will Ospreay. He hasn't said any stupid stuff for a while, which is great, because one of the gripes I had with Ospreay is that he kept saying very stupid things, but he seems to have calmed down with that. So Ospreay is the new International American, Australian, New Zealand, Germany champion. So hopefully he can hang on to that. Daniel Garcia returned as well. He's not leaving AEW. There are rumours that Daniel Garcia is leaving, going to NXT. Apparently that's not happening. He's going to be feuding with MJF if Tony Khan remembers that happened. No, 2 weeks, Daniel Garcia versus Kyle Fletcher. I'm guaranteeing to you now, in 2 weeks, Daniel Garcia versus Kyle Fletcher in a singles match that hasn't announced no disqualification or no countouts, but they will be outside the ring for 10 minutes. Can you see why I don't like AEW? Can you see it? Because I can predict what's going to happen before they even do it, right? Ricochet versus Kyle Fletcher, right? I really didn't think they was going to go down that fucking road, but they're doing it, right? Everyone who's getting a slight push goes up against Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher's on the receiving end of that, and people wonder why I call him a jobber. People wonder why I do the who thing for Kyle Fletcher, because he just loses matches all the fucking time to any random person with no substance, and people wonder why I can't take that guy seriously. Fuck off. But lots of many other things happened. The Young Bucks basically bored the building out. Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker was allegedly a very bad match. They did some Eddie Guerrero stuff. Apparently that match was all Eddie Guerrero. And yeah, I mean, people are saying it's a good show. I'm not going to dispute that because I didn't watch it. But I'm not focused on if the show was good or not, because it doesn't matter whether the show is good or not. It matters what they do next. Now, with WWE and WrestleMania, yeah, I thought it was good. But what mattered is what they did next. And they did things very slowly and boringly for a while until things started to pick up. I believe, after this good show, AEW will proceed with their usual bullshit. Not really build anything unless it involves MJF and Will Ospreay, because that's actually had some build. I mean, people say that Tony Storm and Mariah May had a great story. Where? Because all I saw was lesbian action, lesbian action, lesbian action, lesbian action. Oh, look, a heel turn, face turn, whatever. I don't know, because nobody knew what Tony Storm was at the time. Can you see what I'm saying? I mean, how's that a good story? How's lesbian action and freeway lesbian action a good story? Can someone explain that to me? Because if WWE did that, man, people would be all over it. I mean, some people are all over the living dumb stuff. I fucking personally don't like it. I think it's for sad, sweaty virgins. Same as this fucking Tony Storm, Mariah May, hot lesbian angle shit with, what's her name? Mina Shirakawa? Is that her name? And where's the story? Where is it? Because hot lesbian action is not a story. It's not. It's not. It's just not. It's a story for horny teenage boys and fat sweaty virgins. That's all it's for. It's to try and get up that key demo. It's to try and boost the key demo so they can say, wow, look at our key demo. I don't think it worked. It worked for a little bit, but I don't think it worked for very long, because it wasn't very interesting. If you're a normal person who isn't horny as fuck and who isn't a virgin, then you will see that that story had no interest whatsoever. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. I'm trying not to make this video too long because I've got loads of stuff to do today. I want to get back to being Arthur Morgan because I've just made it to the second camp in Chapter 3. So I'm going to crack on with that once I've finished whatever else I need to do throughout the day. Let me know what you think about all the topics we've talked about. Ricochet, mid-card to mid-card, Forbidden Door in London, and Grand Slam in Australia. Wise choices, but they need to up their domestic market as well at the same time, because WWE, they go abroad, sure, but their domestic market is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. AEW's, bad. And All In, I've just talked about bits. I've not reviewed the show, but let me know what you thought if you actually watched it, unlike me, because I was busy doing more interesting things, man. I just didn't care. I didn't care. I cared enough to check results every now and then, but that was it. I say for the first hour and a half of the show, I forgot it was even on. And that's not me joking, that's not me ribbing. I'm being serious. For the first hour and a half, I was busy doing other things and completely forgot the show was on. Completely forgot. And then I saw the time and I went on to X. And AEW All In. I forgot about that. That's how I reacted to it. But let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, follow me on XDCrossman25. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.